In this updated tutorial in CyberLink PowerDirector, we're going to look at how to use the timestamp effect to create a countdown timer. I have here on track number 1 a video, and it has basically a beach scene. It's the sun setting into the ocean. And so we'll use something tranquil like this and then create a countdown timer. This is often used in modern worship services. So I need a countdown time. We're going to take the Effect Room option with the All Content selected at the top. I'm going to go down to the T area for timestamp. I'll take that and drag that to the effect track below audio video track number 1, and then I'll lengthen it to match the length of the entire video that I have on track number 1. And now if you notice, by default, it puts a timestamp in the upper right corner in terms of hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. But let's say I want to modify this. I don't want people to actually be counting frames with me. So if I highlight the timestamp and click on Modify, I get into the control area for this particular effect. Here's where we can change it. Hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. I wish there was a minutes and seconds only, but we'll show you how to overcome that in a moment. So I'll settle for hours, minutes, and seconds. You can change the separator to one of 6 different options if you wish. Now the position is also important. We're going to move down here first of all and change the font. Let's assume instead of the default font that I have here, I want something else. I will take the impact font, and I don't need to make it bold. It already starts out pretty bold. And let's make it larger, like a 22. Click on OK. And now you notice my time is off the screen. That's where position comes in. I'll click on the position button on the left side. That opens up an independent window with a red dot. All I need to do is move the red dot wherever I want it. That will be the center of my timestamp. And so we'll move it just above the water and click on OK. And now I have the hours, minutes, and seconds. Now I also have in the properties the normal time, which is a count up time. I want to do a count down, so I click on reverse time. And now, in order to understand how far I'm counting down from, I need a time code in here. So again, we have hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. We'll try just the 3 in the minute category, and this would be like a 3-minute countdown. You can also change the text color, but you notice even though the text opacity is set to 255, it's not pure black. I wish it were. I wish I could make it so it wasn't slightly opaque, but when you overlay this, it will not be the solid color you might expect. Let's change it to white, which will actually turn it into a bit of a whitish color, but again, notice it's not a pure white. So now we have our time, and if we want to reset, it'll go back to the defaults. We don't want that right now. So we'll close that out, enlarge the screen, go to the beginning of our movie and play it, and it will count down from 3 minutes very nicely. Now, if you don't want the hours in there, is there a way around it? Well, there's a bit of a workaround. It's not perfect, but let me show you what I've been able to do with this. In order to make the hours work, I'll click back on my timestamp. I'm going to modify it, and I'm going to go to the section where it has my separator, and I'm going to make the separator a space. So I just have a space between these objects here. Then we're going to close our effect settings. Now I'm going to take a copy of my movie, and let's go back into our media room. I'll drag it down on track number 2. So I have the same track on 1 and 2, and I have the effect track between the two. Now we're going to use a mask to be able to see the time between the two. So I'll click here, and I'm going to click on track number 2, go to Designer, Mask Designer, and I'll take the square mask here that I want. And here we have our time. And I'm going to actually mask out. We'll turn off maintain aspect ratio. I don't have to have a huge mask here. I'm going to mask out the leftmost digits. Click on OK. So now I just have minutes and seconds. Now there is a little bit of an issue with this because when the minutes and seconds get to ones, because it's proportional font, it will move all the letters to the right. So you have to be very careful with your mask so that you don't get a little bit of a sliver of the 0 that you've worked out here. Let's try this. Looks pretty good right now. I could actually make the font to take out the leading 0 here, but that would be more difficult. Let me show you why. We're going to go back into our designer, mask designer on my track number 2. Let's move it over to try to take out the 0. Click on OK. And you notice there's a sliver of it here. And that's because the letters are closer than I want. And again, the 3 and the 2 and the 1, it slides things over. I can't make it so it's left aligned. So it doesn't give me quite the finish I want on my countdown timer if I try to take the leading 0 out as well. But it is a way to do it to at least get the hours out of the formula by just blocking out the other 2 digits to the left of the 0 and 2. So in most cases, I just take my mask designer and be satisfied with being able to reduce it this much. And that's one way in which you can create a more simplified countdown timer to put on your screen in CyberLink PowerDirector.